So I think it's going to be an interesting week for FX. Next week, this was supposed to be the interesting week with the Bank of Japan and FOMC meetings. And we did see a fairly sharp reaction to those, with especially dollar yen falling and the dollar generally weaker. But I think we need to see some follow through here. If not to end the week this week, then certainly early next week when you see that dollar weakening move picking up. And I think the dollar situation technically on the major dollar pairs looks very pivotal here. If the euro dollar is heading up above 113 again, if dollar yen is breaking that huge 100 to the 99.50 area, if Aussie dollar is pulling up above 77, and we're seeing the daily close above these levels, it's looking like a new trend in dollar weakness. I'm a little bit hesitant to jump aboard the reaction. I think there's some counter evidence to this theme that the dollar should head weaker with the Bank of Japan outcome this week, where I think while we did not see immediate easing from the Bank of Japan, they've laid the groundwork for actually more massive easing in the future if the fiscal side decides to pick up the stimulus. So I want to take it one day at a time on the dollar. Elsewhere, though, I think we've seen some notable developments this week that could persist into next week. We've got a weak Kiwi on the RBNZ downgrading its outlook. We see volatility picking up from here. Volatility should mean less interest in these reach for yield trades. The Kiwi's been a strong yielder, strongest yielder among the G10, has been excessively strong on that theme. So looking at Kiwi weaker in the crosses, Aussie Kiwi particularly interesting technically after bullish momentum divergence. Kiwi CAD even, and even Kiwi dollar, but again, that's a bit hinging on the dollar view. Elsewhere, also the sterling weaker. That's been a fairly consistent theme all week. Euro sterling breaking up through some key resistance. And I think as long as cable is below 130 as well, we could be seeing sterling weaker. This long-term uncertainty, I think, is going to continue to hang over the market as we await the invocation of Article 50 early next year. And finally, the one strong mover of the week that I think was interesting was the Norwegian krona with this Saxo Bank meeting, where they neutralized the outlook rather than having a bias towards easing. Euro Noki breaking some key support around 915, and I think we have a technical break there. Interesting possible head and shoulders formation that could lead to levels like 9 and even below from Euro Noki, as long, however, as crude stays relatively bid and we don't get a big risk-off move in markets here. So that's the outlook for next week. I think it should be a dynamic week, and we need to get some kind of answer from the US dollar. That's my main overhanging question for the week.